What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush back at it again with another New York Giants video. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the draft. We're going to get into it in just a second. Draft topics, specifically a trading down, and just some semantics of it. Not really getting into too much detail about trade packages, but just my thoughts. And what's going on in my head right now about the Giants potentially trading down from the 11th overall pick. The draft itself is only about 2 to 3 weeks away from us right now. The time has been flying since the offseason began. A lot of it has to do with the Giants actually keeping us entertained with some good moves and coaching moves and personnel moves, not just one or the other. They've been keeping us on our toes, and it's almost as if the draft is going to be here in the blink of an eye. But with that being said, let's get right into it and let's talk the potential of the Giants trading down. Now, honestly, the potential is quite low, and I'm going to be completely transparent here when I tell you guys, we're not going to know anything about the Giants trading down, or we're not going to know what the actual chances are of them trading down until the opportunity presents itself on draft night. Because I've been saying for a while now, and I continue to believe it, at 11th overall, the Giants are honestly in a really great position to pick whoever they want. This is one of the best positions we've been in draft-wise in a long time. At 11, if you want to get an offensive lineman to finish up and shore up that offensive line, you could get an offensive lineman. If you want to get another weapon to stack the deck with receivers and, to give Daniel Jones the best receiving core in his entire history of playing football ever, and one of the better ones in the league at that point, like say if you take a guy like Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, you do that at 11. If you want to take an edge, whether you see it as a reach or not, it doesn't matter. You're going to have your pick of the litter at 11th overall. If you want to go linebacker, Micah Parsons, there's a great chance he's still going to be there. Or if you want to take a little bit of a reach at a guy like Nick Bolton or Zaven Collins for, in the middle there, you once again, kind of like the edge, you're going to have your pick of the litter. If you want to, for some reason, go cornerback, even though it's not really necessary, you don't necessarily have the pick of the litter, because I'm pretty sure Surtain's going to go to the Cowboys, but you're going to have basically the rest of the entire cornerback class to pick from. 11th overall is quite a nice place to be picking at, which is why I'll be quite happy if we don't trade down from that spot. But there are quite a few scenarios in which the Giants could say to themselves, we'll try and get some more draft capital, and all of them just fall into the part of if the guy they want is off of the board and they think they could get another good player just a couple spots away. So that brings up, who could they possibly try and trade with? And in my opinion, there's only really two teams that come to mind. First, New England at 15th overall, and second, Chicago at 20th overall. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, I'm not going to necessarily get into trade packages, but with New England, a team that's only 4 spots away, obviously, other than swapping the first-round picks, I expect maybe, a third or a second to be involved. But other than that, not too much. They are jumping up, and if we know they're jumping up to take a quarterback, which would be the only reason I see them trading up, then if I'm Dave Gettleman, I would try and press and ask for more. But in a regular scenario, let's say it's not a quarterback and they just want to trade up for anything, it would probably be like a first, a third this year, and maybe like a future third. If a quarterback is involved, I would definitely be pressing them for a little bit more, because they're basically going to be moving up to get their franchise guy to prevent any team from jumping them, or any team between us and them to take that quarterback. So here's the thing. New England, with us swapping to 15, we're still in a good spot, believe it or not. We're still in a pretty good spot. Now, of course, there's not going to be the same caliber of players there at 15 that there would be at 11, but you would still have your pick of the litter at edge, in my opinion. You would still have good offensive linemen. I think the offensive line group that you'd have available at 15 is extremely similar to the offensive line group that you'd have at 11. Because I've also been a great believer in this. Rashawn Slater is not making it to 11, but if somehow he does, we're not trading down. I feel like he would be the pick. So let's say Slater wasn't there. I really think there's only going to be one more offensive lineman off the board between 11 and 15, and that would be Darisaw. And I don't really think Darisaw is a target for the Giants. So at 15, you could get yourself an AVT if you want to get yourself an AVT. You could take a little bit of a reach at a Tevin Jenkins if you want to get yourself a Tevin Jenkins. You still got the edge to go. You still got the linebackers there. Parsons would probably most definitely be gone. And the weapons, now that's where it's going to differ the most. Linebacker group and weapons group. But then again, like I said, if they're trading down, they're probably weren't looking at that heavily at 15. You're still going to have a really good guy in Rashad Bateman available at 15, in my opinion. You're still going to have the rest of the receivers. You're still going to have those guys in Bolton and Collins available at 15. It all comes down to what the Giants look at as a good spot to get a good player. If they believe that the decrease from 11 to 15 isn't too much, then they might try and pull the trigger. Or I should say, New England will try and pull the trigger, because once again, I think it would be the other teams trying to trade up that would really be making the offers rather than the Giants trading down per se, if that makes sense to you guys. And then the other team I listed in Chicago, all the way down at 20, this one is not as realistic in my opinion, purely because of the talent drop off, or not the talent drop off, but maybe at this point the Giants are not comfortable sitting 9 draft spots behind where they usually would be. You know, maybe they say to themselves, that's going to be a little bit too far back for us to trade, and they don't want to move back there at the cost of potentially losing out on a good player. So if we go back to 20, guys that I think that are definitely going to be gone, I think the top 4 receivers are going to be gone. I think your top 4 O-linemen are going to be gone. I think the linebackers are still going to be there, but a guy in Parsons is definitely going to be gone. The corners are going to be gone for sure. And I think that's really the positions the Giants should be targeting. I might have missed somebody, but guys that would be available at that point, the edge at 20, potentially maybe one of them went before. Maybe a guy like Aziz went 17 or something like that. But the edge is still going to be there. So if we trade back to 20, I expect that to possibly be a pick. O-lineman, like I said, I think the top 4 O-linemen might be going. You're still going to have good guys. So, you know, maybe one of those secondary O-lineman guys could be the pick if they go all the way back to 20. Wide receiver, at that point, I would just say get a wide receiver in the 2nd round. And those linebackers, a guy like Bolton or somebody similar of similar talent is a lot more realistic at 20 than it was at 11 or even at 15. So if we're trading all the way back to 20, and once again Chicago is going to be trading up at that point 100% for a QB, the compensation will have to be a good amount. Not only are we swapping first, I actually expect a future first as well, whether it's 2022 or 2023, in addition to a couple of mid-round picks. That's a huge jump. That's a huge drop back for the Giants, and they're going to need some legitimate draft comp. Chicago is going to have to give up quite a bit to get to us. Maybe even a player is involved. I'm not sure, you know, if anybody that necessarily comes to mind. No, I don't want Khalil Mack, purely because, well, cap space is a funny thing right now. I want to say we're strapped for cap space, but we saw the black magic that was worked this offseason. But no, Khalil Mack is just going to be way too much pain on the Giants' wallet to handle right now with everything else that they got on deck, even though he would be great to have on the team. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe a player will be involved. I don't know. Maybe we get a receiver from them. Maybe throw in an Anthony Miller or somebody similar to that. Asking for Roquan Smith might be a little bit too much, but maybe give us Danny Trevathan. Hey, maybe even give us one of your guards in like Charles Leno or something. But it's gonna have to be really mouth-watering. It's gonna have to be something the Giants see. Yeah, this is gonna give us immediate and future pluses as well if we make this trade down. That's kind of what I see happening. But it comes back to, at 20, do they still see that they could get somebody of good value? Because there is such a thing as trading back too far. You don't want to go from 11 to 20 and then every single good player gets off the board. At that point, you're just setting yourself up for depression, if we're going to be honest here. But now we're talking about the realistic chance of the Giants doing it. Like I said, you're not going to know until the opportunity presents itself on draft night. This is going to be a draft and a draft year in general where moves aren't going to stop being made until the draft actually finishes. We're going to see a lot of trades, or not a lot of trades, but we're going to see a lot of moves in general being made from now until April 29th, then all the way through the night of April 29th. And yeah, I know Gettleman, he comes from that Ernie Accorsi tree, man. There's not a GM tree that's used to trading down or that even wants to be a guy that trades down. I mean, Gettleman even said it. He wasn't a guy that was trained to be a trade down GM, but he will do it if it benefits the team. And if Judge even says to him maybe like, hey, you know what, it's fine, you know, we still got good players there at 20, we could still move down, or at 15 and get them, I think he might maybe pick up the phone. Who knows? But put your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all on the next one.